Hi everyone. Today I want to discuss a concept from our reading that I found incredibly powerful: the leader as a social architect. I've always been a member of a team rather than in a formal leadership position until recently. But chapter 13 clarified for me is leadership isn't just about leading, it's about creating an environment where effective followership can flourish. A social architect's job is to design a culture and structure that empowers everyone to be an active, engaged partner in success. So, how do I see my role in shaping culture? It's about moving the team away from less effective follower styles toward the ideal follower styles. Daft and Kelly describe different types of followers, including the passive, the conformist or yes people, and the cynical or alienated follower. My goal as a cultural contributor is to help build a system where people don't fall into those traps. Instead, we want to cultivate effective followers. These are team members who think critically and independently, as well as can problem solve, but are also actively engaged and committed to the organization. I work to model the behavior I want to see. If I want a culture of punctuality and respect, I make sure I'm always on time for meetings and listen actively when others speak. Now, I'm still working on that punctuality part, but ultimately, it's about building credibility through our actions. I also make it a point to celebrate the small wins. A simple, great job on that presentation, or thank you so much for your help on the report or this project can significantly boost morale and reinforce a culture of appreciation. These small, consistent actions are the building blocks of a strong and positive team culture. This idea of a social architect became very real for me recently. My team was thrilled because we received some brand new computers for our students. The problem was they arrived without the specific software our students needed to practice for and obtain their industry based certifications. And this wasn't a small issue, it was a major part of the curriculum that we had chosen for the students. So while my team worked tirelessly, submitting tickets, making calls, we tried every channel we could think of to get the software installed, but we just kept hitting brick walls. And, the frustration just, was mounting. We just felt like we were failing our students, and the morale of the team just kind of began to decay as well. Um, the team, was just, our culture was starting to crack under the pressure. And my goal was twofold. I knew that I needed to redesign that structure because we needed the students to remain productive. So I initiated a brainstorming session where we could kind of map out a pathway that the students could take towards being successful. And so we were able to, come up with an alternative plan and teach similar concepts, even though, we didn't actually have the software. The second thing that I believe was almost as important was needing to reinforce the culture and the vision. I pulled the team together and acknowledged the hard work and, even the frustration. I assured them that this was only temporary and, we would eventually be able to get to resolution. But I wanted to make it clear that we were in this thing together. And as a team, we would be able to get the resources we were promised. We were not going to give up on getting our students certified. This experience taught me that being a social architect isn't always about creating a perfect plan from scratch. It's often about building or rebuilding when things kind of fall apart, redesigning the structure to deal with the reality on the ground at the time that it's happening, but simultaneously reinforcing the team spirit. Like, what's good about what we already have in place in our commitment towards our larger vision. So finally, none of this work, it doesn't matter if it's not grounded in strong ethical principles. This is the foundation of everything. In an educational setting, our duty to our students, it should be our first priority. And making sure that the culture and vision align with our ethics is meaning doing everything in our power to provide a meaningful experience for our students, even if we have to do that sometimes with limited resources. But being transparent with each other about the challenges, and still advocating for our students really helps to build a cohesive team, because they see that we're like in this thing together. Ultimately, being a social architect means being intentional, and it's about shaping culture through our daily actions. It's about rebuilding when things kind of fall apart, and ensuring that everything stands on this strong foundation, so that people aren't just kind of working, they're thriving. Thank you for listening.